It looks like we're having some fun this morning. Excited to see all you happy faces on here. Looks like we've got some great champions on the line with us here. All right, so let's hit some leaderboards. See how the week is going so far. We had eight riders here on the base shop side in the Dinwiddie agency. So starting out, Sheila Burton, one application, $123 direct to Stacy Love. Jason Reyes. Jason is actually a new rider with us, and one application for $804 direct to myself. Terry Myers, six applications, $1,335 direct to Stella Dinwiddie. We had number 5, Stacy Love, three applications, $3,488 direct to Donna Bates. We had number 4, Miss Donna Bates herself, 7 applications, $3,937 direct to Spencer Cushion. Number 3, Spencer with 5 applications, $5,410 direct to myself. Number 2, Stella Dinwiddie, 8 applications, app count lead for the week, $6,299. Number 1 for the week, Miss Sydney Lee, 2 applications, $8,468. Congratulations, Sydney. And I know she's kind of trying to ride 2 horses right now, and so that's great. But she's still able to get over $8 grand in business off 2 applications while juggling several responsibilities. So that's a huge accomplishment. Take a look at leaderboards. We're going to look at again at the entire hierarchy. Top 10 so far for the month. Donna Bates, 15 applications, $8,584. Terry Myers, 19 applications, $8,705. Lionel Anderson, 20 applications, $12,266. Mr. John Paul Vetter, 7 applications, $15,039. Stacy Love, 15 applications, $15,152. Stella Dinwiddie, 19 applications, $16,449. And that's starting at the number 5 spot. So Stella's at number 5 so far for the month. James McKeon, 19 applications, $17,791, number 4 spot. Sydney Lee, number 3, at 15 applications, $18,625. Spencer Cushion, number 2, 14 applications, $19,070. Number 1 so far for the month on the entire hierarchy, Miss Jenny Gray, 24 applications. She's actually leading an app count. Funny how that works. You lead an app count, you also lead an APV, $25,576. So we're rocking and rolling for the month. Today is last turn in for submit. Quick note, I was talking with somebody earlier, I think Stella and I were actually talking about this, so quick clarification. It's always confusing. I hope the company at some point kind of aligns things up a little bit better, but submit ends midnight Eastern on the last Friday of the month. So on your calendar, whatever the last Friday is, midnight Eastern. So submit and rider count. Those are the 2 factors that count for the last Friday of the month, midnight Eastern. Okay. And submit anymore doesn't really have a whole lot of impact on what we do. But again, just for headline numbers, know when that cutoff is. Issue paid, though, goes through the end of the calendar month. So, for example, September, issue paid goes through next Thursday, which is the 30th. So in reality, you've got another, 5-6 days of business that can go to your promotion. And we're actually going to talk a little bit about that today as far as promotions go. But keep in mind, anything you write from now till next Thursday, and if you're pushing hard for a promotion, keep in mind all our promotions now go off of issue paid. Now that's a benefit to you, because if you're a little short, you come up with the last Friday of the month, and on the submit side, you're running a little bit behind. I would be pushing all my business to instant issue companies. So John Hancock, Americo, I'd be exclusively running all my business through there unless I was forced to go somewhere else. And I strongly recommend doing that anyway, just because from an issue paid standpoint, that's going to help you on the numbers, and you're going to find a lot less likelihood that you're going to be in a problem at the end of the month. But yeah, keep in mind issue paid is now our factor. So we're going to talk a little bit. Last week, Stella and I kind of talked about this new chapter in our business, an exciting chapter and an opportunity for all you to step up. And one of the things that I did not do is really kind of talk about those specific numbers. And I want to do that this morning. I know some of you have been around for a while, and this may kind of seem like remedial, going back to square one, but it's important. We all have to go back and look at the numbers. Because if you've been here any length of time, even if you're brand new, you got to know what that next step is, what that next phase of the business. But you also have to know not only where you're at, but what it's going to take to get to that next level. And yeah, it's pretty simplistic. I mean, it's numbers, but there's some moving pieces within that. So I'm going to do a screen share this morning. Let me move some windows around.
Pardon me. Before you move into it, may I just say a couple of things real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Stella. I should have gone ahead.
That's okay. I know we were all so excited about the awesome music that you had going on. I love that song. That's so much fun. But what an amazing week! And I just wanted to just really point out. I know that you already talked about Sydney's her accomplishment this past week, but I just want to bring that up real quickly because so her APV for the week was actually 12,608, but we do get capped on business that we write. So just in case anybody wonders about that, they cap us. I think it's like 8,500 or
7,500.
7,500. Thank you. So they cap us at 7,500. You still get paid for your issue paid part. It's just to make it fair to everyone across the board. They cap it so someone comes in with like a $500,000 annuity, and got that APV going on or whatever it is. It's apples to apples with all the people who maybe submitted 6 or 8 applications, right? So I just wanted to point that out, and then I just really wanted to let a lot of some of you that maybe have been here for a while and thought, gosh, why can't I do that? You can. I just want to give you a quick little backstory because Sydney is, she has another job that she does. So she does this part-time. And when she was doing this, when she first started doing this, she was frustrated, and she'll let me tell you, I'm sure that she won't mind me sharing with you that there were times when she was like, she would text me constantly, call me constantly. And you always hear Chris say, the best people will always be blowing up our phones. And maybe you don't see it in the beginning, but she was frustrated. She had some, not a lot, but she had quite a bit of negative thoughts that were, like, I can't do this, or I'm having trouble with this, or nobody wants to fill in the blank, or, nobody's doing this. And, when you focus on that, obviously that's what you're going to get. And I'm not saying that that's what caused it. I'm just saying what she had was staying power. Sydney never gave up. She was determined. She was consistent. So she would, invest in leads. At first, she didn't invest in leads every week, and she wasn't seeing it. And I'd be like, well, what leads did you get? Well, I still got my leads from last week. I haven't finished calling. And I'm like, you got to invest in leads every week, Sydney. And she'll tell you, she was like, ugh. So she finally did that. And that's what built that consistency and that momentum. So even though she's part-time right now, you're going to see her. She's going to be writing every single week. She may not write, 12,000 APV in a day like she did yesterday, but she will be writing. She'll probably be writing more if she's getting better at DFL. So I just wanted to share that real quick. And I just wanted to share that for this past week, that put the Dinwiddie agency at 20,242 in APV with 16 apps. And all it takes is like 30,000 usually in a week to get on the top 5 agencies. Now, Chris, I know you've been there a ton of times, but I haven't. And so I really wanted to share that with Dinwiddie team and the rest of you, because you know, we have about 10 writers, at least for the Dinwiddie agency. And all it takes, if I did the math, but that's only like $3 grand APV each. Now, last week when John Paul Vetter got on, he was #1 on the Vetter team. Wasn't just him, it was him and his team, right? They wrote about 40,000. And if you looked at it, he wrote 13,000 and Jenny wrote 13,000. And then the rest was all sprinkled in from, you know, writing here and there. But it adds up. So don't think you don't make a difference, because you make a big difference, and you're gonna make a bigger difference now that you're getting into the swing of things. And one last thing, Chris, if I could just share this, and I'll give it back to you, but it was so just heavy on my heart. Not heavy, but it was so, it just was this, I just felt like I just need to share this. And I wrote this down from like a year ago, because sometimes we can all go through struggles. And, you know, it's that courageous patience. Sometimes you have to have courageous patience. And I got this from that book, No Excuses, from Brian Tracy. And he says, this is the ability to hang in there and continue working and fighting after you've gone all in and before you've seen any results or rewards. He says, most people, you know, anybody can muster up the courage and action, you know, to take action on a new goal. Yeah, I want to do this. But when they don't see no immediate result, they immediately lose heart and they pull back to safety and security, and they don't have staying power. I wrote down at one point, you know, because we have weeks, we all have good weeks, bad weeks. And I wrote down, I have staying power. I am driven and I am determined. I stick it out until I figure it out. I am focused and I am consistent. Even if you don't feel like you are, or you feel like you don't have all of that, what you think about, your words become your reality. So what you focus on is what is going to start happening around you. So I just want to encourage you with that, because I'm so proud of Sydney, and it just made me feel like, wow, you know, I just really want to share that for anybody else feeling like, man, why aren't I doing that? Because I felt like that. So that's all I really wanted to share. Chris, thank you so much for letting me share that.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. It actually fits in very well with our theme for the day, because we're going to talk a little bit about, we'll talk a lot about where, you know, where you're at in the business and what it takes to get to the next step. You know, the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. Well, you got to know what that next bite is, and what you're, you know, what you're shooting for to take that next bite, to take that next step. I mean, you know, it's probably a thousand cliches that I could drop right here about, you know, taking that next step, but it's important to actually focus. So let me share my screen here briefly, and let's take a look at what it actually looks like. Everybody can see promotion guidelines. We good? Thumbs up. Cool. Okay. So this, and again, I realize this is kind of 101 for a lot of you, but you look where you're at in the business. If you feel like you're stuck at a level, it's good to go back and analyze this and understand exactly what's going on. I guarantee you in this conversation today, we're going to uncover some things that you're, you know, it may seem obvious, but you're just missing. So again, just, you know, so we got some brand new agents on here. We've got some people who have been here a while. So we're going to start at square one. But, you know, everybody comes in day one as a new agent, 70%. Now, you'll notice all of our promotions go up by 5%. And those are 2-month qualifiers. We're going to talk about in a second how we're going to shortcut that. But just for the basics of our system, and it's all based on production. On the left side, is all about team volume. Right side is personal production. So Symmetry, 9 months ago, maybe a year ago now, reworked our system where it used to be you could go up to about halfway up the scale on personal production, but then you pretty much had to have team volume to get anywhere beyond that. And so they reworked it to where you could literally go to the top of the company on the right side just on your personal production. and this is issue paid numbers again, just so just to kind of keep everybody on the same page. But literally, to go from 70 to 75%, and this on this one doesn't really matter. I will here, I'll talk about here in a second. But if we go from 70 to 75%, $2,500 issue paid. Now, what does that mean? In a 30-day cycle, you need to issue pay $2,500, which is 2.5 applications based on our average case size. So 2.5 applications in 30 days or 4 weeks, if you want to break it down into weeks. So guys, sometimes I think we get kind of off, we make this way more complicated than it needs to be. My only goal to get from 70 to 75. Now, obviously, if I'm trying to cover bills and everything, I've got another number I'm shooting for, but my first line number is just $2,500, 2.5 applications between day 1 and day 30 or 31, whatever the month is. And do that for 2 months in a row. And again, we'll talk about the shortcut here in a second. But every one of these is just, so we go from 2,500 to 5,000, 5 applications. Okay, 5 applications. We go to 10,000. That's 10 applications on average, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and talk about the slingshot, because those first 3 moves, a company put this awesome plan in place. And the cool thing about this, they didn't make this just for new agents. They made this for anybody. I don't care if you've been here a year and you're stuck at 80% for whatever reason, doesn't matter. They put this in where anybody can do the slingshot. Now, obviously they raised the bar a little bit, but not a lot, quite frankly, for what they're giving you. I mean, an extra 5%. So to go from 70 to 75%, you can do the 2-month qualifier on 2,500, or you can just step up your activity, write 5,000 and do it in 1 month. Plus, on top of that, they're kicking in a 10% bonus. So if you get 5,000 issue paid, you get that 10% bonus. That's what, $500. If I'm doing my math right, sometimes decimal points can trip me up. But so you get a 5% bonus or move up on your contract, and 10% bonus just for basically doing what you're already doing. That's going out and writing business. Same thing, 75 to 80%. Now it's you could do the 2-month qualifier. That's still there. So if you miss it on the 1 month, you get the 2-month qualifier 5,000. But why not just go ahead and hit the 7,500? It's just another 2.5 apps over the basic qualifications. So 7.5 total apps on average will bump you from 75 to 80, and do that in 1 month. So, and then obviously to go to 85, it's 12.5 issue pay. And again, 10% bonus all the way up. So over here, this track is 6 months. Okay, so 2, 2, and 2 to get from 70 to 85%. Over here is 3 months. So in half the time, you can give yourself a 15% increase in your pay. No, so for easy math, if I'm writing 10,000 at 70% contract, and again, kind of a side note here, when we talk about that 70%, that is obviously that's based on our core product. So typically that's going to be a mortgage protection, term insurance. Not all products pay the same, and it's not unique to us as a company. It's just, it doesn't matter what company you go to. Not all products will pay you the 70%. Some pay 65%, some pay 50%. We have a handful, and they're very, like, I can think off the top of my head, maybe 2 or 3 that pay down in the 40s. But typically I say that's on somebody who's old or really sick. And, the insurance companies, to make a profit, they have to take it from somewhere, and they take it from our comp, which is fine. Usually it's a situation where we're kind of forced to write something because they don't qualify for anything else. So it's a good deal. It's a good deal for the client. But anyway, we work with these numbers just because, again, that if you're focused on mortgage protection business, most of your plans are going to be in that 70 percentile or thereabouts, and then moving up from there. Okay, so again, you go from 70 to 85%. So that $10,000 worth of business that you paid, you can get paid $7,000, or you can get paid $8,500. So there's your incentive. I mean, obviously it's a pay raise. Every time you jump up, you're putting more money in your pocket, and you're moving up the ladder of the symmetry promotion guidelines. So scrolling back up to guidelines, let's talk a little bit about this, because this is where we kind of start getting into okay, what it takes, because really honestly, for most people getting from 70 to 85, I know all the riders that I'm seeing on the screen right now. I mean, I think all of you have put up 10,000 at some point in a month. Yeah, sometimes maybe it's a struggle to, you're working part-time to get it in consecutive months. You know what, that's okay. That, again, that's where take advantage of this bonus period that we've got right now with the slingshot bonus. I mean, that's not going to be there forever. So take advantage of that and, get those 1 month qualifiers. Okay. Moving beyond that, again, you can qualify a personal production. So it goes 15 to 20 to 25 to 27.5, all the way up to 40,000 issue paid. So typically when we're talking about issue paid, the average agent is going to have to write, probably an additional 20 to 30% over this to get that, to hit that number. And there's a number of different factors. Obviously, again, we've all talked about the client that, forgot to tell you about the second medicine cabinet that they've got. And you get through the entire application and they say, oh, by the way, is cancer a problem? Well, yeah, that kind of is a problem. We probably should have known about that up front, but that notwithstanding, that just happens. People will do that. We could talk a little bit about the training on how to mitigate that, and there are ways that we can cut down on that. But the reality is, of everything that you write in a month, and I don't care, we've got some of the top writers in the company that still, they don't do 100%. They do 90%, which is really good, but it's very hard to hit that 100% mark for a number of different factors. But still, yet, I mean, to get 20,000, you're going to have to probably write 25 to maybe 30,000, depending on if you had maybe a really bad month on the issue paid side. From a planning standpoint, again, the easy thing for me on personal production is just to take this number and divide it by 1,000. So $10,000 means 10 apps in a 30-day cycle. 15,000, 15 apps, 20 apps, 25 apps, 27 and a half apps, 30 apps, so on and so forth. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. This is the thing and this is why, a lot of people come in with the idea of building an agency, and that's exactly what this system is honestly designed for. Again, you can go to the top on personal production, but that's not really what it's built for. It's really built for those people who want to build an agency, who want to build something bigger than themselves, who want to have a wider reaching impact. I can only go out and, write on a, given month, 20 to 30, sometimes maybe 40 apps. Okay. That's just, I only have 24 hours a day, and part of that's taken up with the rest of my life. So and we're all the same. We only have so many hours. Some of these, some of the riders you see on the top of the leaderboards, you think they've got to have at least 2 or 3 extra days in their week, and somehow they're getting a lot more done than the rest of us. But here's a little secret for you. The agency building side, we talk a lot about passive income. That's all great, and that's important. That's the reason we do it. But think of it in these terms. I'm going for 15,000, hitting this 90% contract, and maybe I can go out and issue pay 15,000 on my own pen. But what if I had just a couple of other writers on my team? And like to Stella's point earlier, maybe they're not, they're brand new. They're still figuring this thing out themselves. And so they're kind of stumbling and fumbling through it, but they each, go ahead and put up their first month number of 2,500. So I have 2 riders at 2,500 a piece. That's an extra $5,000. I only have to come out on my personal pen 10,000, because here's the secret, guys. You get to count your riders, your team, that counts towards your personal promotion. Okay. And that's huge because, as we get up here, some of these numbers, are they doable? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have full faith that, you know, everybody on here can hit 25, 27, 30,000. I mean, I honestly believe everyone on here could hit 40,000 personal issue pay. That's going to be burning a candle at both ends. You know, that's going to be somebody that's just flat out cranking a lot of business out. Here's where the power of team comes in, because again, you don't have to be agency owner. You don't have to be team leader. Symmetry looks at your hierarchy, and if you have one person under you, you know, and part of your team, you've got a hierarchy. Okay, so they look at that and they say, okay, this team of two went out and wrote $15,000, and so the top of that team, you get to count that entire 15,000. So if you're stuck somewhere on a contract, you don't have to be looking at, okay, well, gosh, now I got to figure out how to get 20,000 issue paid, and I've only been hitting 15. You could also look at it and say, well, gosh, all I got to do is figure out how to get some people on my team, and we're going to go out and do this together. That's the power of team. And so, you know, going from one level to the next, now it's not just a matter of, okay, well, how do I come up with a business? It's how do we come up with a business, and how do I add valuable team members to my team that we can keep pushing toward this goal? So you'll see, moving from 90 to 95, now we start having, again, all team volume counts, but going from that 95 plus, you have a certain rider requirement. So these are actual requirements that you do have to hit if you're going to qualify on team volume for that next promotion. Okay, guys? And the reason that is because at 95, 30,000 issue paid in 6 riders, these are now agency owner numbers. Okay? So if you have 6 riders doing 30,000 a month, you do that 2 months in a row, you hit your 95% qualification. You do that a 3rd month in a row, you are now an agency owner. That's when you actually get an email from Symmetry Financial Group with a document attached. That is a legal contract for you to sign. You set up a beneficiary. You know, who do you want this to go to in the unfortunate, you know, passing of your life? You pass that on. Now you have a business. Now, that's just the starting line. Obviously, there's several layers above this, you know, so, you know, so, but that's a huge milestone in the path. So, you know, again, I'm not going to break down every one of these. You can see these numbers going from one to the next. But here's, okay, so guys, those of you who have been around for a while, and you're starting to get up into these levels, and you're starting to think about, okay, what's it take to get from, you know, 9 or 6 riders to 9 riders to 13 and so on. Here's a factor that you have to consider, because it seems like pretty simple math. Okay, well, I go from 6 to 9, I need to add 3 riders, and that's true. You do need to add 3 riders, but we need to be thinking about net riders, because in this business, this is, you know, we talk about all the time, this is simple business, but it's not easy. And this is a business where it really separates, you know, the doers, you know, from the wishers. And unfortunately, there's a lot in our society. There's a lot of wishers out there. There's a lot of want tos. There's a lot of I hope tos. I dream to. I wish I could. And they see this. It seems like they see the simple side of it. So it seems like, hey, anybody should be able to do this. And I believe anybody can do this, but not everybody will do this. That's the key. So when we talk about volume of recruiting, and you'll hear that a lot, you get on the builders calls and you listen, they talk about, you got to have a, you know, pipeline, you got to get a lot of people in. The reason is, you know, some of the best recruiters in this business, even at this point, we still don't know who's going to take this and run and who won't. We don't know who's going to win and who's going to tap out after that first hang up. And somebody told them that never to call them again. You know, we don't know who's going to, you know, fumble around for 6 months and, you know, just be on the brink of a breakthrough, you know, getting through that learning curve and decide, well, this is too hard, I'm going to go find a job. We don't know that. So you have to look at net riders. to go from 6 to 9 riders, yeah, it's a matter of adding 3, but in reality, it's probably a matter of adding, who knows, for everybody, it's a little bit different. It could be adding 6 riders because you lose 3. Could be adding 10 riders because you lose 7. You know, as you grow in personal development, and this is, you know, a little side note, this is why we push personal development so much, because the better you become as a coach, as a mentor, as a leader, the less that net number is going to be. In other words, instead of recruiting 10 people to get 3 to stick, now maybe you recruit that 6 people or 5 people, or maybe even 4 people and get 3 stick. So that's where personal development, that's why, you know, all these pieces, it seems like there's just so many random things out here. It all ties together. Okay. It's all interconnected. And so if we go to from 6 riders to 9 riders, 9 to 13, 13 to 19, we have to know what that net number is. Now, again, over time, you know, that number is going to get better. The other thing is we're working, you know, we're constantly looking and working on better ways to recruit, you know, better platforms. Several of you got on a call here yesterday, you know, with a training regarding a new system using LinkedIn. We're excited about that. If you didn't get a chance to get on that or didn't hear about that, which, you know, it kind of was something that we had, we'd gone through one channel or one team, just reach out to me or your upline. We'll get you some information on that. If you're interested in being a part of that, we can get that out to you. As with anything on the business building side of it, you know, there's a little bit of investment. It's actually probably one of the most affordable platforms that we've ever worked with, and it looks to me to be highly effective for the amount of investment that we're putting into it. But I'm excited about it. I think LinkedIn is a huge tool. It's a difficult tool, and it's one that's a little bit hard to figure out. And I've worked with it several times, but what we're working on right now really seems to be showing a lot of promise. So, kind of a little side note there for anybody that hasn't had a chance to see that yet. Be checking it out. But back to our promotion guidelines. So I want to go back to the beginning here. Again, 2-month qualifiers are going to set the slingshot just aside for a moment. But every one of these is a 2-month qualifier: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Excuse me, up through 110 is 2 months. Okay. Beyond that, these now become 3-month qualifiers. So you could get from a dead stop to what did I say, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, basically in 14 months. You could go from 70 all the way up to 110. But here's the beautiful thing: slingshot bonus, shave 3 months of that. You could be at 110 in 3 months, or excuse me, in 11 months by knocking 3 months off. Okay. And then your run to 120 is another 6 months of qualifier. And this, to be quite frank with you, this is a pretty high bar, because we're going from 19 to 29 to 45 riders. I mean, that takes a lot of work, but I'll circle back to that in a second. But I would, you know, encourage anybody and everybody. Number one, you have to take advantage of that slingshot, guys. I mean, that's huge. Shaving 3 months off of this, you can see you can be a little over a year, or you can be less than a year getting to 110. Okay. And it all comes down to that first 3 months, the lowest level and the easiest qualifier for that first 3 months. As you get in here, qualifying on the team side with riders, keep in mind, you know, as you're getting to 95,000 issue paid, 19 riders, think about it in terms, you're at 110. Here's where, you know, this business and our passive income, our profit, you know, you're bringing on new agents at 70, you're at 110, you've got a 40% spread on anybody that you bring on new. So even if that person just goes out and writes $5,000 issue paid, that, that's what, a $2,000 passive income for that month. Well, if you've got 19 riders, now obviously your spread's not going to be 40% on all of them. You're probably going to have a couple of them that are within 5-10% of you, but some that are maybe 10 to 15%. You can see how this really starts to add up pretty quickly. If you had just a 10% spread average on 95,000, that's $9,500 passive income outside of anything that you do personally, personal production. Okay. And then going again from that to that next level, going up those top levels where it's a 3-month qualifier. Think of it in these terms, guys, and in anywhere along here, adding riders to your team in the beginning, you're going to be pushing that big rock yourself. But one of the things to be thinking as you're recruiting, be looking for those people who you want to be in business with, who get that vision too. And help them get the vision, not by telling them about the vision, but by plugging them into the system. That's why we insist that people be on all of our calls. When you get on those calls, you get around people that are winning at a high level. You get to hear from the owners, and they're just as genuine in person as they are on screen. I've had a lot of people ask me in interviews, it's like, wow, the owners just look like really down to earth people. I'm like, yeah, they are. And what you see in person is no different than what you see on on those professionally produced videos. And so, but my point with that is, if you are doing your work in recruiting and adding to your team, and be looking out, identifying those people that have that same dream and same vision, now you're not trying to add 3 riders and then another 4 or 5 riders and then another 6 or 7 riders. You're still trying to add your 3 or 4 riders, but you have other people adding 3 or 4 riders. And so this is where the compound effect, thing like compound interest, is now your activity and their activity, and maybe 2 or 3 levels down activity, is all flowing up. Because from a recruiting standpoint, I still, am bringing on people, but our recruiting numbers across the hierarchy, we bring a lot of people in, and only a fraction of those come back to me. And you'll hear Brandon and Casey talk about this a lot, that 20-20 rule. Go out and write 20 grand and bring it, get 20 packets back. They acknowledge, hey, in the beginning, it's going to be hard to hit that 20 on your own. But if you keep doing the activity, pretty soon that 20 packets back is not that difficult, because you've got a team with that like vision, all running for the same goal, for the same, for running the same direction. And now what you're trying to do is you're trying to accomplish, everybody is winning at the same time. Because when one of you gets promoted, and I don't care how far down in the hierarchy, that helps me, that helps Scott Mank, that helps even at the top, you go to Jacob Poger, Marshall Whalen. Now obviously they're at the top, they're equity partners, but it's still, it helps. That's why I love this business, is truly everybody working together for individual goals, but your individual goals help the larger accomplishment of not only the teams, the hierarchies, but the company at large. So I'm actually going to pause here and just kind of open up the floor. Anybody have any questions, or as you're going through this, maybe want to dig into a little bit to better understand any of these any of these promotions?
I do, Chris.
Me
real
too.
quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, did someone else say I do?
Yeah, Stacy. Actually, let's grab Stacy because she raised her hand first. So.
Sorry, Stella. Okay, Chris, quick question. So when we're moving from 90 to 95. So the AO run begins at the 95% mark. So that first month that we hit 95, or we're working at 95, we need to hit that 2 months in a row.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you get past the slingshot, and obviously that they have that on through February for conference. And I don't have any reason to believe otherwise. I think that will go away. I think it's just, promotion, obviously. Once that goes away, now everything is 2-month qualifiers. So from 85 to 90 to 95 to 100, all the way up to 110 is going to be 2-month qualifiers. One other thing that I will say is you can qualify on both sides of the ledger up through 110. So you can qualify on personal production and get that next promotion. But once you get to 110, you can't go past without a team. So my encouragement is, if you want to build an agency and you want to get to the top on the agency side, you will become an equity partner and have other people get to that top level where you're actually earning an equity bonus. Like we hear about Marshall Whalen got 115,000 last month or something, crazy number. And that's just his bonus, forget all of his overrides and all that stuff. If you want to do that, I strongly encourage everybody to qualify on the left side. You can do it on the right side. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying once you start getting up here to 100, 105, 110, if you're putting in the kind of effort that it qualifies or that it takes to qualify to get that kind of issue paid number, you're going to be hurting yourself on the team side. You're actually going to be setting yourself back. You're not going to be putting enough energy into developing your team and helping them become successful. And ultimately, that's once you hit 110, you're going to be behind everybody else who's been qualifying on the team side, because you're going to have to put a lot of effort to get caught back up on rider numbers.
And then with the rider numbers, if I have 2 riders and then they each bring in 2 riders, that all counts toward that total number of riders. So I don't have to actually do their onboarding. Someone in my downline can do the onboarding and it still counts.
Yeah, absolutely. So
sorry. Okay.
Yeah, in Marshall says this, you didn't need 3 to be free. So you need 3 other people who have and have big vision, not just 3 other riders. Don't get me wrong there. It's not, I find 3 people, okay, I can sit back, we're on easy street. No, you need 3 people who are running hard, running for that top and get that vision. You find 3 other people that are going to run with you and run at your speed, and again, they don't have to match you number for number, but if they have that vision and they're willing to put that kind of time and effort in, you'll be at the top of the company and you'll be up here at equity partner earning Marshall and Jacob type monies. You look at both. So Marshall got to the top of the company basically with 3. Jacob, same thing, basically 3. Now they have more, and they have people that are actually now kind of start to move up the ladder, but to get to where they are at 120 and actually equity partners, that happened with 3 core teams, and their business is only building and growing from there. But in reality, 3 to be free is really true. Stella, do you want to go ahead and ask a question there?
Well, actually, I'll leave it open for anybody else to ask, because I do have a question, but I also have a comment. So I want to make sure I leave it open for anyone else.
Anybody else want to pop in? Feel free to unmute yourself. If not, we'll turn Stella loose. All right, everybody's being quiet. Stella, let's go ahead and.
All right, here I come. So, thank you so much for walking through this. This was so huge when you pointed this out to me as I was making my promotions when I first started about 2.5 years ago. And I started at 60%. So did Terry. We started at 60%, guys. And right now I'm at 95%. And the advice that I would like to give to any of you, because I made agency, I didn't make it, my team and I made it last December 2020. coming out of the national pandemic. My running AO run was in October, November, and December. And here's what I did, what I focused on. So I had, more than 6 riders, but a lot of people were brand new. And when I first started out, I didn't have any money for recruiting. I heard all these people, like you can do Zip Recruiter, this and that. I didn't have any money, asked Chris. And so I always worked my warm market, and I still do that to this day. So I want to encourage you, if you felt like how I did, make sure you're consistent when you're sitting with your clients. My team knows I share it with them all the time. And, people here, Dave, who's an amazing writer, Dave Moan. Oh my gosh, I sat in his home with him and his beautiful wife, Carmen, went back before COVID hit. And, and I just, told him about what I did, and we clicked, we got along. I loved what he had to say. So I was like, hey, and, and he helped me. He was part of my team that helped me get to AO run. So the other piece of advice though, is other than working your warm market, through the clients you sit with, sending out an email, talking to people, don't do it like I did in the beginning, where I just vomited on them with how great this opportunity was. Like Chris said, you're looking for quality people who have that mindset, who are determined, and who, have high goals. And the other piece of advice is I was going to tell you. So right now, there's a lot of people, you guys, who I hear when I'm sitting with people every single day, who are concerned about, well, I'm about ready to get laid off because I have to get vaccinated. So I tell them about that. Gosh, you know what? I'm not required to here. I don't talk more about it. I don't get into any kind of political stance. I stay away from that topic. I just let them know that we don't have to be. And there's a lot of people out there, it's just their principal, that are like, hey, tell me more about what you got going on. I talk, so anyways, that's one. The next thing is, when you are on your agency owner run and you see there where it says you need 6 riders and 30,000 for 3 consecutive months for your AO run, right? 3 when you make AO. My mindset was, I know I could write 30,000 APV a month because I have. So my mindset was, I need to write at least at minimum of 30,000 so I can carry my team who were brand new, because you're going to have a lot of brand new people, especially when you're first starting out. So if you have that kind of a mindset, and don't rely on, okay, you need to write 10,000, you write 5,000, because it just, life happens. And so just, my dad always said, Stella, you got to rely on yourself, not on others. So that's what I did. I had that mindset, and that's what I encourage you to do. And then that way, anybody else, if you get some heavy hitters and they're writing, 20,000 in a month, which I was blessed at, have some people do that, then great. Now you've made it. And then you just got to have that mindset. I just got to get through these 3 months. And so for you right now, it's just getting to the next month. I was going to ask you, Chris, what level are you at right now? Because I think this is really exciting.
Yep. So I am at 110. We're chasing down 115. When you get to this level, so it's funny, because we've hit the numbers several times, but there are more metrics to hit when you get up to the top level. So we've been missing it on one here and there. So
what could we do better to help you get to 115?
Issue paid has been one of our biggest Achilles heel, and it has been for a long time, even before we were hitting the numbers. So, and you've heard me talk a lot about, to some degree selfishly, but also because I know if I'm looking at the issue paid numbers and they're hovering around 60%, that means a lot of people are writing business that they're not getting paid on. So when you hear me talk about, guys, you need to be focusing on companies like John Hancock, like Americo. I do that intentionally because they're instant issue companies. If you're not getting, if you're writing 10,000 and you're only seeing 4,000 or 5,000 in your bank at the end of the month, that you got to look in the mirror, and you can blame clients, you can blame this and that, but the reality is that's on you. And clients are going to lie to you, but there's still a way to work around that. One of the easiest way to work around that is to write an instant decision company, because that will tell you if you're going to have problems right then and there. Too many times we have people that think, well, I'm going to submit this app and I'm going to cross my fingers and I hope it goes through. That's called throwing things against the wall and hoping they stick. And that's not a good strategy. That's not a strategy at all. So if you hit a application that you submit and you get an instant kickback and say, yeah, this one's not going to be approved, while you're there live with the client, you're able to fix the problem. And too many times I hear people like, well, I had this one, it didn't go through, and I'm trying to reach the client, they're not returning my calls. Yeah, that happens. Sorry, and especially if you left a message, well, we had a problem, I couldn't get you approved. Well, psychologically, now they don't want to talk to you, because it's not our fault that they got declined, but it still hurts their feelings. Okay, so guys, I can't stress enough, write instant decision as much as you possibly can. And I get it, sometimes we have to write a company just because of health. We've done our pre-qualification, and hats off to you. If you're doing pre-qualification and you feel confident going in with a company that's not instant decision, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Be very, very cautious with that and make sure that you are putting good business through. So to answer your question, Stella, the thing that's probably held us back the most is our issue paid. We are all over the map on that. We had a good month last month, but the months before, I mean, honestly, we're pretty dismal, 60s, in the 60s on issue paid. Wow. And it's across the board. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but when I see it's across the board, and obviously there's individual standouts. There's some people that are writing, and getting 80, 85% issue paid personally. And those people are very happy and doing very well. But, for us to have an average of 65%, that means for everybody that's writing 80, or at 85, 90% issue paid, that means I've got people on the other end of the spectrum. It may even be only at 40%. And that's painful. I hate to see that, because that means that's a person that's doing a lot of work for not a lot of payout. And again, I hate to be this way. It's nobody's fault but their own.
No, you're right. And yeah, I love what you said about, we have to look in the mirror. The thing about that is it's only a benefit to that person writing that business, because they're the one that's going to get that issue payment, that payment from the carrier in their bank account. So thank you for sharing that, because I just wanted to also just point out, you guys, after I made agency owner app in January, at the end of December. So in January it was announced. I haven't reached 100% yet, and we're in September. We almost hit it a couple of times. But, I love what you said, Chris, about look in the mirror, because, that's what I've done, because I'm like, I've had enough writers every month. You have to make it 2 months in a row. I've made it we made it like barely we had issue paid over 45,000. And then the next month it was like 44,000. I mean, it was just like maybe $800. It was just crazy. So it's super duper close, but it hasn't been earned. Like Ashley Tarr said, we have to earn this. And me as my own, being a mentor on my team, or me myself, I have to earn it. So I'm like, we'll get back to, write a minimum of 30,000 again. And so, it is a juggle when you're recruiting and all of that, but it's doable. So I'm going to focus on that. And I would love to give a challenge to everybody here, because there's 2 challenges I want to give to you, if that's okay, Chris. Counts for the whole entire team, is to manage your issue paid. Chris, you do so much for us. I am so grateful for you. Like, everything that you've guided me along the way, every which way you've supported me. Like, it is the most incredible opportunity that you've helped me with here to be where I'm at, that I want to give back. I want to help you get to 115. And that's why I asked you. So, I'm going to challenge everybody to look at your issue paid numbers and see what that will take for you. When he says, look, for us to look in a mirror, it just means, taking that extra time to do that extra due diligence and not just trying to push something through. And then secondly, the other challenge is we're at the end of September, but it's not too late. We still have all day. I've got one guy, I'll let you guys know. I'm waiting for him to sign his signature, and the APV on it would be like a little over 7,000. I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to jinx it, but since we're here talking, I just want to show you what's possible. If he signs it today, now it puts our Dinwiddie agency at 27,000. If we have 3 other people on this team that pull in even 2,000 today, which is doable, 246 plus 27, now we're up at that 35,000 where we can be in that top 5. So it's possible. So the bigger challenge, is not only to try to see what you can push in for today, but next week is the first week of our 5-week run in October. So I would love to put the challenge out there to everybody, including myself, and let's all try to write, the most that we've ever written. If you've written 10,000, try to write 11,000. If you've written 2,000, write 3,000. But just put, there was something that I heard, and he said, if a guy, I can't remember it, I'm going to mess it up, but just do your best. If you do your best at the end of the day, that's good enough. There's a great man that once told me that, and his name is Patrick. And he said, you know what, if you just do your best, that's good enough. And so really look in the mirror and see if it's your best. So if you just do your best, it's good enough. Thanks.
Well, you just inspired me. If everybody does improves over their personal best for the month of October, we haven't done a swag giveaway, so everybody gets a hoodie if they do over their personal best in the month of October. So let's have a little fun with it. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't put any qualifiers on it other than just, hey, go out and do better than you've ever done. If you're a brand new writer, let's say hit that first month promotion. Just check that box for that first month and you qualify. So yes, Heidi.
Really quick with the promotion, can you skip levels? Like, do I have to hit that like base level for the first month, or can you skip above?
No, yeah, you don't skip. You go one level at a time.
No, but I mean, what if I write more than it says to write is what I'm asking.
Right. So you go from 70 to 75 to 80 to 85. So it's one level at a time.
No, I understand that. But what if, like, so it says, do you write $2,500 the first month? What if I write more than that per week or whatever?
Go do it. Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Okay, so it doesn't ding me. Like, I don't like it doesn't. Okay, I don't expect to skip above that. I just am saying you don't have to like write that amount. You can write over and stay in the.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, we strongly encourage that. I mean, go out and write 40,000. I mean, it's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll find a way to do something special for you.
I will personally throw you a party. I will fly down if you write 40,000 in your first month. I love the questions from new people, because you guys, please feel free to open up with questions, because when I first started, there were things looking back that I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know that. I can't believe I didn't know what this meant. I can't believe I didn't know what issue paid meant.
All right, guys, we're coming up to the top of the hour. I'm going to wrap up. Unless anybody has any other questions, feel free to pop on if you do. If not,
I have one.
Go ahead, Donna.
If I just want to clarify, if I have 3 writers and Stacy has 2 writers and one of her 2 writers has a writer, that puts me at 6.
Yes. Now for agency owner qualification, now that's for 95. Yeah, just 6 writers. For agency owner qualification, you have to have two writers direct to you. I think. Stella, do you remember?
Sorry, I don't.
Well, you said
Yeah, I
3
don't
and
either,
3,
right?
so I'm thinking you need at least 3. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. It may be 3. I don't have it pulled up here. If you go on the Quility, and under the builder's corner, you'll see that. So there's the promotion guidelines that we were just looking at, but there's also the levels of leadership. Look specifically for the levels of leadership, and that will tell you at each level, you know, how many people, how your structure needs to look, basically. And the reason that that's there, just kind of a little side note, if you're wondering, well, why do you have to have 2 people direct to you, or why do you have to have, you know, this or that? The reason they do that is they don't want anybody basically riding their way to the top of the company on the back of somebody else. So let's say you come in and you hire a superstar, rock star that just goes out and blows the doors off, and you're basically just sitting around riding their coattails.
Okay, I found it. Here's a question. It says AO minimum of 30,000 net place for 3 months with 6 sales reps, 4 direct for each qualifying month. So you have to have 4 exactly direct underneath you. That's it though.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent question.
4 direct 3 months in a row.
You can do it. You're doing it.
Yep.
Totally.
All right. Any other questions before we wrap it up? All good?
I'm going to open up my Zoom dial room. So just, I'm consistent, you guys. That's how come I have, I'm not boasting, but that's why, you know, even if I don't write a lot, I write every week because I'm consistent with dialing. So I'm going to open up my Zoom dial room. Some of you join me. So I will be opening it up for a few hours. Just putting that invite out there.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks,
Cool.
Chris. You're amazing.
All right. Thanks, guys. Go have a great day, the rest of your day, and let's finish up strong.
Thank you.